So we're talking about how to up your game as a student. There's several things that you need to do, and I'm just gonna kind of lay it out for you. And I'm saying this as someone who was once your age. So maybe you're 13, maybe you're 16, maybe you're at a point in middle school or high school where you're like, I want better for myself. There are some things that you need to do right now in order to level up. The first is you need to be real with yourself about what it is that you are trying to accomplish. If you are like, in 4 years, I want to go to an Ivy League school. It doesn't even have to be Ivy, just a really great college or university. You want to go there. Well, the first thing you need to do is ask yourself why. What's the purpose? What is it that you want to accomplish there? And is that school going to get you to where you want to go? Secondly, is read up on the school or read up on the thing that it is that you're trying to do. So if you're like, I want to go to Harvard, I want to go to University of Washington, I would start studying up. And the power of social media is so cool because you can actually find out what students who go to Harvard or University of Washington, what do they do? How are they? They are likely studying a lot. So if you are someone who doesn't like to study, if you're not reading, if you are not really like killing it on your homework, you gotta change that like right now. So in other words, you have to develop a real sense of self and good work ethic. So what does it mean to have a good work ethic? In order to have a good work ethic, you've got to eliminate some distractions. So are you spending too much time on Instagram or TikTok? Are you sliding into somebody's DMs a little bit too much? I don't know, playing too many video games. What are you doing that is distracting you from you trying to accomplish your goal? Whatever that thing is, you need to get rid of it like now, because that is the toxic thing that is holding you back. It's holding you back, and only you know exactly what that is. If you're trying to level up, get rid of all distractions, period. Because I can tell you right now that those people who are at Harvard or at University of Washington, they are not playing video games. I mean, well, they are playing video games, but probably not as much as you are, okay? So the first thing is eliminate the distractions. The second thing is, this isn't crazy, but I'm just saying this as someone who has been your age, you gotta change your friend circle, dude. So if you have friends who are doing things that they have no business doing, if they are gossiping, if they are not doing their homework, they're not paying attention in class, they're not practicing their instrument, they're not doing the things that they are supposed to be doing, they are a distraction and you gotta eliminate them. I'm not saying you can't be cool with them, because of course you could be cool with them, you could still like talk to them and be friendly, but when it comes to you trying to take care of your business, you cannot have those friends. You cannot have those people in your inner circle. And your inner circle has to be practicing if you play an instrument. It's gotta be doing your homework. If you have a job, a part-time job, like those are your inner circle things, along with maybe your family and or your guardians or whoever. Like, protect that inner circle and don't let the people who are doing things that are going to distract you into that inner circle. Like, get rid of them like now. It's toxic. The third thing is find people who are like-minded, who are doing the things that you're doing or the things that you aspire to be. So if you're like, I want straight A's, I want to get better at my instrument, I want to go to Harvard, I want to go to University of Washington, then you have to be around like-minded people who also have the same goals as you, which is why I'm saying sometimes you might have to dump some of your friends or the people who are not trying to do that. Find like-minded people who aspire towards some of the same things that you are aspiring to do and become. And then I think the last thing, and this might be, you could take it or leave it, this is just my advice, is write things down. And not like type it in your phone or on your laptop, but physically like write it down. In other words, you might want to consider getting a journal. I know that it sounds old school because, you know, only old guys like me write things down, but you as a teenager can start to write things down now. Get a notebook, write down your goals, look at them every day. So if you're like, I want to go to University of Washington, I want to be a scientist, I want this, I want that, write those things down and look at them every day. Like, read them to yourself. Those things will help you immensely. You can't just have it here. You have to physically like manifest it and write it down and then read it. You don't necessarily need to tell everybody about what it is that you're doing. Some things are meant to be private and you can totally keep that to yourself. But when you write things down and you start to read it, then you start to actually believe it. And when you start to believe it here, then your actions start to change. So you're like, okay, I'm not a doctor now, but maybe in 10 years, I will become a doctor. I'm not a social media influencer right now, but in 10 years or 5 years or 3 years, I might be. Your actions will start to change once you read it and you see it and you're telling that to yourself every day. Those are things that have worked for me. You know, when I was a teenager, I wrote a lot of stuff down. I didn't have a ton of friends, but the friends that I had were like-minded. They were doing the same things that I was wanting to do. We had different interests, but they all had the same goals, which were, we want to go to college, we want to get a scholarship, we want to, you know, move out of state and go to school. We had all of these like very high ambitious goals for ourselves when we were teenagers. And guess what? Two of the people that I was really good friends with when I was in high school, one has a doctorate now as a nurse practitioner, and she teaches at a university and also has her own private practice. And the other is an engineer who like runs this huge like power plant in Pennsylvania. And I'm still close with both of them. And that was like 30 years ago when I was in school, but we're not talking about that. Keep your circle small, find people who are like-minded, write things down, and eliminate all those distractions. You do that, you are on your way to being successful.